Will Xbox Live Enforcement ban you for griefing on GTA? This is something I always wondered, if Rockstar actually cares about cheaters and griefers and all that. This really doesn't imply too much to Xbox Live Enforcement, however, they do state that you should follow a game publisher's rules on a game. And considering we have this lovely, beautiful bastard that does not follow rules very well. The story of him is very funny, and Emily said some very, very hilarious stuff about him. That I will go over, but before we do that, I will explain to you why this lovely outstanding citizen is in this video. Last night, Emily was on GTA playing missions with her friends and all that, and out of nowhere she was blown up by a jet. And you guys know how jets in the game are OP, they have those missiles and fucking explosive rounds. Jets are OP. That guy kinda sucks dick at the jet, so he kinda had to move to an Oppressor Mark II, and you guys know how Oppressor Mark IIs are just absolutely stupid. Like, I don't know why GTA implemented those. So anyway, Emily was on her way, trying to get to her destination to do missions with her friends, and he comes out of nowhere, kills her with a jet. First time's on the house, as usual for griefers, we just usually let that go, and we think nothing of it, but then she gets spawn killed by the jet, and then she's locked inside the clothes store, and she can't get out because he's out there with the jet shooting explosive rounds. And then she escapes, but then gets killed, and keeps getting spawn killed. Now she can't go into passive mode because she's on an active mission, and she can't request her oppressor because Rockstar patched it, and you have to wait like 4 minutes after each time, so she's a sitting duck that keeps getting spawn killed. She's underpowered. To take out a jet, it's very hard, especially if they're in distance, so she was kinda fucked. And Blood2197 kinda incriminated himself. Well, sorta, because Emily took pictures of it and wanted me to make a video on it. Calling out Rockstar on it, but I actually want to, bring Xbox Live Enforcement into this, because I'm actually genuinely curious if they care if you follow a game publisher's rules, because that's very rare that Xbox Live Enforcement kind of cares about that. So this gentleman volunteered to be in this video, and last seen online 16 hours ago. Before we report him, I will show you some pictures that Emily took of their conversation with him. Unfortunately, Emily doesn't have a YouTube channel, she doesn't have an Elgato or anything, so I wish she did. It would be much easier, much funner to collaborate. Before we report this beautiful gentleman, we are gonna go over a Snapchat Emily made about him and the messages they exchanged with each other. Emily gets murdered, and then she says, reported for griefing. She sends him a text message over the game, and he responds with, report does nothing. And then he explodes her. And as you can see on the screen she took, she was not fighting back. She wanted to, do some kind of self-defense, but she was overpowered by a jet. It's a 5 versus 0. He killed her 5 times, and she killed him 0 times. He's literally griefing for blood, as you can see in his gamer tag. And then, to the message, Emily responded with, if it's on YouTube, it does something. You're a smart ass, Emily. And then Blood went on to say, no it doesn't, because this guy knows everything. He's been everywhere. He knows everything. And then she simply says, we shall see. So, Blood responds with, I hope you do, because it would make you look bad. Yeah, no, not really. It kind of makes you look bad because you were literally griefing her, as you've seen in the pictures, and Rockstar's conduct specifically says that you're not allowed to grief others. That is griefing. She wasn't even doing a mission. She couldn't get to her mission because you kept griefing her. So it makes him look bad, because I hate griefers. I kill griefers myself in GTA whenever I want. I just don't like griefers. No one does. Griefers just feel insecure about their KD, so they prey on, other players. And then our friend Blood went on to say, you aren't special. And then Emily tells him to leave her alone. And then he sends her a message saying, I've been sponsored to play this. So I'm gonna expose this gentleman and tell you guys that he's full of shit. He was not sponsored to play GTA. Let's pretend Mountain Dew sponsored Blood2197 to play Grand Theft Auto 5. First of all, if he was sponsored, he would not be allowed to play like this, because griefing is against the conduct of GTA Online, made by Rockstar. Rockstar even makes you read their conduct before signing up to play GTA Online. So this guy knows that griefing is not allowed. And he's been sponsored by a company, major or not, to play GTA Online, which does make sense, we'll get to that later, but he's been sponsored to play, and he's griefing other players. He's breaking the rules on GTA Online, and he's gonna say he's been sponsored. You see, usually when people say they were sponsored, they don't usually say they were sponsored, and then if they do, they usually say who they're sponsored for and why. And on top of that, there will be some like kind of advertisement going around or something for like some YouTube channel or whatever. And no, he wasn't sponsored. There's no way he was sponsored. If he was, then, well, his sponsorship ends with this video because he just broke a lot of rules. And then he blew Emily up again, as you can see in the picture here. As you can see, at this point, Emily's just trying to get away. She's spawning everywhere in random places, and he keeps following her, keeps spawn killing her. That is against the conduct of Rockstar, of GTA Online. That is against it. If you're sponsored to play GTA Online, you should know that. So that's why I know you weren't sponsored. Moving on, he moves the party on to Xbox messages because this guy wants to slip into her DMs, and goes like, yes, I was, because Emily responded with, no, you weren't sponsored, there's no way. And then, you know, I don't know why he sends her a message over Xbox. I don't know why not GTA, but he says, yes, I was. And then Emily just does the smart thing that everyone who watches these videos for safety should do. She just says, you're reported, you will be on YouTube, you weren't sponsored. I love these simple responses that people make to people that kind of try to make a conversation going. And speaking of making conversations going, this guy, I don't know what he's trying to do. I mean, he tries to keep the conversation going. He sends a message saying, whatever you say. And then Emily never responds. So he sends another message saying, showing a picture, and I don't know what that says, that's too small. And I never really asked Emily what it means. And then he said, too bad you'll never be this popular. And, I mean, Rockstar, if you're watching this, if you want to take action, Xbox Law Enforcement, you were a beast in the last video. If you want to take action as well, you feel free. Make it more popular if you want. I mean, he's a griefer. He's a griefer. If you see him in your lobby, you have to kill him. He's a griefer. There's no exceptions. And then she goes on and says, leave me alone or this will be counted as harassment. And then he replies with, I'm going to upload this to YouTube with my thousands of followers that you don't have. So his thousands of followers know he's a griefer online and that he's been sponsored in 2021 to play GTA Online. Anyone kind of see the issue with that? How would Rockstar sponsor, not Rockstar, how would any reputable brand or business sponsor you to play GTA Online in 2021? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, what is this for? I looked up things, like before making this video, I looked up any active sponsorships for GTA. I couldn't find any. So what the hell is this? Is this guy like playing Stolen Valor for Rockstar or something? Like, I'm pretty sure this is against the rules, lying to be sponsored to play the game. I mean, I guess he tried to justify his crimes, but he's like breaking the rules. Anyway, enough with the conversation between him and Emily. Emily did block him and reported to him on GTA and on Xbox. So she made a very funny Snapchat about him. She roasted the fuck out of it. Anyway, Emily went on and made this post about him. That is so accurate. I like how she said, I present you to you. Like he's some circus freak. I mean, griefers are circus freaks, right? The soft underbelly. Fucking destroyed. Fucking vaporized. Oh my god, I'm crying right now. I needed to collect myself. I'm keeping this picture forever. In case I'm having a bad day, I can read it. The soft underbelly of griefers. Oh my god. Jesus. Let the man live. He's just playing GTA. Jesus, Emily, chill out. He just wants to enjoy some griefing. I'm good now. I'm good. I'm ready to collect myself, and I'm ready to do some reporting. So, let's say you were griefed on. I mean, let's say you were preyed on by a griefer on GTA. It's very common. It happens in almost every lobby. Griefers feel insecure about themselves and have to take it out on others. But I don't know what kind of idiot would put their full name on Xbox One. I'm gonna assume that's his fake name. If that's your real name, Blood, then you are stupid as hell. and I'll make a video about, you know, DDoS attacks eventually and how to avoid them. And this guy, do not follow his example, because I hope that's not your real name, dude. I mean, Xbox One is stupid for asking for your full name if other players could see it. That is stupid. Don't just put your first name, don't put your last name. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and go to unsporting behavior, and as you can see in the description right there, grieving. Well, everyone in Rockstar or GTA calls it grieving. I call it grieving, but I guess it's called grieving. Whatever. It's unsporting behavior, so let's go have at it. And violence and gore, it's part of GTA, so we're not gonna report him for violence and gore. It's part of GTA. Anywho, harassment, he was harassing her. She had to actually block him and mute him on GTA and on Xbox so he could stop messaging her. So, he was pretty harassing and pretty insistent by sending those messages. So, harassment and send multiple messages. Sent multiple unwanted messages. There we go. Submit. Also, I don't know if you could hear this, but for the past 6 minutes, there's been a baby outside my house crying. My neighbor thought it was a good idea to let their child cry and open their front door for everyone in the neighborhood to hear. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call Child Protective Services. This is ridiculous. Actually, I'm not. It's not my concern, but if your child is gonna cry, please close the door and fucking do something, because that is... oh, Jesus Christ, that's annoying. Anyways, it's already bad enough I have a headache disposing this douche nugget. I have to fucking listen to a child crying. Be a parent, do something about it. Do not call me Snoopy, but the mother gave the child a bag of potato chips and he's back to crying. What the fuck, man? Anyway, back to the video. We reported him for unsporting behavior. We're gonna go ahead and call him, report him again for unsporting behavior, because there are so many options. Spam or advertising. I'm gonna go ahead and say spam, because he's spamming unwanted messages and lying about being sponsored in 2021. Oh, please. Let's go ahead. And, false... Actually, I'm not gonna write anything on that. I'm too lazy. But submit. Unsporting behavior again. And, something else. Imminent harm to persons or property. Does that count as part of the game? I mean, he did harm Emily and her property and her team and all her money by grieving her. We're just gonna write grieving and then submit. And then there's more. There's always more. Unsporting behavior again, and then go ahead, and he didn't say anything hateful, at least I don't know, but Emily never told me he said anything hateful, so we're not going to report him there. Fraud, definitely fraud. He definitely lied about being sponsored. Lied about an active sponsorship of Rockstar Game Services. And then we're going to go ahead and submit that. Xbox Live Enforcement is not as competent as Rockstar Games. Rockstar Games, I never had an issue with them. They still clean up and care about their games. So, I do feel like Rockstar will respond to these faster and start an investigation compared to Xbox Live Enforcement, who just pretty much is just gonna stand in the back eating potato chips going like, yeah, just do your work, do your work. Unsporting behavior again. And actually, is there something else we can report him for? Cheating, was he cheating? I mean, let's think about this for a sec. If you're stranded and getting spawn killed by a guy in a jet and an oppressor, and you're helpless because you can't go into passive mode because there's an active mission in your CEO business, does that consider cheating? It definitely is. To use that to his advantage, so Blood 2197, bad luck for you, buddy. I feel bad for him though. Imagine being roasted on Snapchat, but then one more thing is saying how you're sponsored, and then you end up going on YouTube saying you were sponsored, and then Rockstar goes like, who is this dude? We don't remember having an active sponsorship with him. Listen, trust me, no reputable business or vendor would sponsor someone that plays like this. And if they did, well then now they have evidence that he's griefing, and this is not allowed. He did do a little bit of cheating by the griefing, spawn killing BS, that is definitely griefing. Hate speech, he never did that, he did grieving on that, even though that probably doesn't apply. What else could we report him for? Well, there's nothing else to report him for. I reported him for every available thing. He wasn't doing any drugs or suicide or whatever, so, we have reported him successfully, and this is what you guys should do to griefers over GTA Online. Maybe he is a savage, but then he was griefing and was caught, and someone made a Snapchat post about him. That was 47. Blood 2197, the underbelly. Oh god. I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to kind of compose myself for a sec. Please forgive me. So, let's... Oh, wait. Okay. Never mind. I thought this was from, like, yesterday's gameplay. I was like, oh, he just uploaded evidence, that idiot. And, as you can see, I'm quite a GTA 5 player myself. I'm almost on level 500 in GTA, so that's actually pretty good. I don't care about levels. I don't play it as much as I used to. I mostly stick to Call of Duty and stuff. Anyway, we're gonna check back with this lovely individual next week, which is Sunday, and make sure, and then I check if Rockstar did something, or if, Xbox Law Enforcement did something. And if Rockstar wants to, like, do something, like, further, you know, investigate this, they could go to a social club thing and then, like, see gameplay that took place between him and Emily and see what actually happened, and then use that as evidence if my evidence is not as credible. Sorry upon my words here, this savage thing is really making me laughing. Irony at its finest. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you enjoy your stay. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I am out. Goodbye.